area today. There's the rotation area there. We're still watching it. We had another little piece of it on the northern end of it. So what's happened here is this thing has developed two rotation areas, really. One just came through Thomasville. We got another one down here around Fulton. And these storms have a way of doing this. You can be locked in on one rotation area. Another one can form further south. The one further to the north can weaken. The one further south can strengthen. This is a rotation area coming through the Fulton community. We got Brooksville Road. There's Dickinson right there as well. This is still in Clarke County, and this is tracking to the east-southeast. Peacock community right there. Here's Grove Hill. So between Thomasville and Grove Hill along 43, multiple rotation areas coming through here. This is about to come to the point where it's going to come across the Alabama River, which is located up in this area as well, as it's tracking towards Packard's Bend and some of these areas. There's a river a little bit further on off to the east. So I'm going to send it over to Matt for an update. Some new information's been coming down. Matt, what are you seeing with our National Weather Service chat? Have we had any more reports of rotation in this storm?
Yeah, more public reports of a funnel cloud up here. So we were getting multiple reports that you can bet that we got a funnel cloud there. And the danger with a funnel cloud like this is that it can drop a funnel to the ground anytime. So we got to keep tracking it as it moves through. And it, like Jason was saying, a lot of times what these things do, they drop a funnel down, and they go back up, drop another one down a little bit later on down the line. And that could very well be what's happening up here. We're continuing to track this right now. It looks like it's in the community of Fulton, but tracking quickly 50 miles an hour here off to the east, southeast. It's got a bit of a southeast bend to it. We've seen that basically the whole way through, actually more than a bit. It's got a pretty decent southeast bend, which is different. Usually when we see these funnels and we see them, they go off to the northeast like that. This one, no, it started up here. Now it's going through Fulton, so it's got a pretty big southeast bend. And like Jason was saying, sometimes what happens is one sort of spins down, then another one will kind of spin up to the south behind, and that could be what's happening here as well. So certainly a situation where we want folks, obviously, hopefully in Fulton, already taking shelter. But if you're out ahead of this thing, communities like Franklin, over towards Beatrice, a couple of the other communities, Tunnel Springs, Peterman, Fountain, if you have any of those that I just rattled off, you need to be in shelter too, because this is coming your way. Here's Franklin, there's Fountain, there's Axel, there's Scotland, Beatrice, so all Peterman, all these areas, Wainwright. If your community being called, you need to be in shelter. You're within that warned box, a warned polygon, and we anticipate this will continue rolling that way once again off to the southeast at about 50 miles an hour. So cutting through somewhat like that. If it continues its current track the way it's been moving, that's what we would expect. So this is a little different than what we typically get. Every once in a while we get this, what we call them right movers, and that's what this one has done. It's not as clear on the velocity imagery. That's hopefully going to be a good sign, but we need to see a few more scans before we give you a full-on good sign out of this. We need to make sure we get several scans. That is definitely much sloppier looking rotation scan. Does not show anything clear on that one. So we'll continue watching that. Well, once again, as these things typically do, oftentimes we see them wind down, then wind back up. So we're not going to let go of it just yet. We're going to continue to watch as it continues to track here off to the southeast. Once again, Franklin, Peterman, Fountain, Tunnel Springs. You're in that area of Wilcox County. You need to be taking shelter. Monroe County, I'm sorry. You need to be taking shelter so that because this is coming your way very soon. And even if it's not a funnel on the ground, we're probably still looking at winds of 60, 70 miles an hour with this thunderstorm as it rolls on through.
I definitely want to keep this in mind too. I mean, we look at the rotation area. This is located a long ways away from the actual radar site, which is here in Mobile. We're talking about northern Clarke County and now northern Monroe County. And within this line here, it's a nasty looking thunderstorm. This thing's about 80-something miles away, 84 miles to be exact, away from the actual radar site. If we're getting reports of a funnel cloud, I mean, that in itself is not a good situation. And that is affirmation that the warning is verifying as far as the potential for a tornado. Now, we've not had any reports of damage, but we've had reports of a funnel along this line. It is no doubt a severe thunderstorm situation too. We're seeing a nasty looking storm from Coffeyville all the way back up to Thomasville. In fact, it may be back building just a bit here. And so that's really going to continue the heavy rainfall threat, the gusty wind threat, the lightning threat that will be accompanying this. And the leading edge of it is where you're going to most likely have the tornado tornadic situation. One piece of rotation already kicked up and is getting close to Wilcox County now, but down 43, you've had another rotation area forming up around Fulton, and that's tracking on off to the east-southeast, and this storm trajectory takes this over into Monroe County back to the velocity product, and again, not to the point where we're seeing a very well-defined rotation area, but it's a storm that's a really good ways off, so we have to keep that in account as we're tracking it. There's Grove Hill right now. Actually, Grove Hill is included in the tornado warning at this point. We actually have seen that rotation area reforming down here on the southern flank of this thunderstorm too, so that's likely why the National Weather Service has continued the warning a little further to the south. But if you're in the red box right here, that's where you need to be in shelter. If you're in Franklin, you still have a little bit of time, but not much, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you get over towards Beatrice. It's probably more along the line of being about 20 to 30 minutes away from the Beatrice area, and these are all communities that are north of Monroeville. Franklin is up Highway 41. Beatrice is up Highway 21. Real pretty area here north of Monroe County as you're headed up towards Millard's Ferry and Wilcox County. Looking at the rotation area again, it would be right in through here. So at this point, it looks like the rotation is now past Thomasville and tracking more to the east of Fulton. It's getting over towards Nettleboro and some of these communities here over on into the Monroe County side of things. And what Matt's doing here is he's just kind of gliding along here with our products to see if we can find rotation within that storm. Look at this complex warning situation here. I think we're going to see this one drop off in about 3 minutes. The Thomasville warning just dropped. We're just waiting for the polygon to drop off of our screen. I expect us to get a more of a cleaned up look to our storm-based warning here in the next few minutes, because this whole warning was in effect until 6:45. So it's either been dropped or it's going to be allowed to expire. At this point, it is past Thomasville. Still got a lot of lightning and a very, very heavy rain, but it's more along the leading edge of the line is now the issue of concern right now. Fulton, we've got the line coming through now. Grove Hill, we've got the line approaching Grove Hill right now. And anywhere along the leading edge of this rotating thunderstorm, we could see a funnel cloud forming or dropping down. It's a little broad now, but we do expect to see an update on this soon. Packard's Bend, Lower Peachtree, Franklin, areas along 17, areas along Old Line Road. That's an area I would be watching out for right now here. Old Line Road south of Nettleboro and to the east of Fulton, you're under a tornado warning. If you're watching us right now, by the way, and you're in Baldwin County or you're in Mobile County, this is in Clarke County. This is way north. All we have going down on the southern end of it is just some showers, but keep it close to Fox 10 through the evening tonight and into later tonight, because the atmosphere is primed. Futurecast shows multiple rounds of severe weather going across the inland areas around 8 and 9 p.m. Then we see some of this energy kicking out of Mississippi, and we've got it in Mobile County and Baldwin County around midnight or 1 in the morning, and we'll still be feeding off some of the instability that occurred from the daytime heating earlier today, and the dynamics are there in the atmosphere for multiple rounds. Interesting to note that the Futurecast doesn't do much with storms all the way down to the beaches, but as we look at the severe weather risk zone map for today, we have a level 3 enhanced risk zone all the way down to the coast, and then we have a level 4, which is a moderate risk in the inland spots. These are the levels of severe risk. This product comes from the Storm Prediction Center, and it predicts the possibility of severe weather in a given area. It's very unusual for our area to get up in the 3s and 4s. The 3s usually only happen maybe a half a dozen times a year or less. The moderate risk is very unusual for our area, usually only a couple of times a year. And a lot of times when we get in that moderate risk zone, we see problems with dangerous tornadoes in our area. Last weekend, we had a similar risk. The storms formed up just west of us, and we came out okay, but places like Bassfield, Mississippi, up near Hattiesburg and Collins, devastating tornadoes occurred just outside our forecast areas. Not to say that we don't have the potential for tornadoes in our area today. Here's a bad one around Tylertown. There's Macomb right there. Here's Tylertown, Mississippi, and this thing tracking right along the Louisiana-Mississippi line. That's a ways off. I mean, this is a good ways away from our area, but all that energy, this storm, it's going to keep moving, and it'll keep tracking all the way off to the east, and it could end up in northern Mobile County or northern Baldwin County through time. I mean, here's the Leakesville area, the Lucedale area. Right now we're looking good, but we have storms to the west of us, and the soundings show that the capping inversion that's limited the thunderstorm threat in the area earlier today is gone, and so all gates are open. Everything's opened up for the potential of severe weather in our area and in southern Mississippi through the course of the afternoon. So we're tracking right now. We're on air for a tornado warning for Clarke County and Monroe County. This rotation area is currently located in far eastern and northern Clarke County. It's in the process of trying to come over into parts of, we're looking at the rotation right there up into Wilcox County. Matt, I saw you over there acknowledging this here. It looks like a pretty prominent rotation area is located right now to the south of Camden, but that's in Wilcox County.
Yeah, it reorganized itself back on a little bit farther to the north along this line, so it is up in Wilcox County, which is good news for Monroe County. It looks like the worst circulation is up around Camden. So for our folks down in Monroe County, yeah, you're still going to get a strong storm, but right now not showing the rotation like they're seeing up in Wilcox County. Once again, I'll pop that back up there. That's up around Camden. If you look farther down the line as we head down towards Franklin, less of a rotation look there. So hopefully for them, a severe thunderstorm, not a tornadic storm. But once again, even with that, we're probably still talking about winds of 60 or 70 miles an hour along that leading line. But the actual rotation area looks like it's more up towards Camden.
Yeah, and the only thing to keep in mind here is that we still have that east-southeast storm motion. So we've got a rotation area here that's near Vredenburg. So it's going to be right on the border between Wilcox County and Monroe County. But if this thing moves east-southeast, it could end up back over here towards Old Texas as it gets out towards 47. So there's the Beatrice area there. And so we've got this rotation area. And we also saw this too in Clarke County, where we've had, you get a rotation area here, and then another one forms up a little further south. So we're not letting our guard down in Franklin, but we are seeing more prominent rotation area further up 41 north of Franklin, getting very close to Vredenburg here, and that's tracking to the east and to the east-southeast. Beatrice is not out of it here, certainly. We're in a tornado warning, so we're certainly not out of it, but we'll have to watch that rotation area, see if it tries to creep back down or track more to the east-southeast as it moves and across some of the communities here in northeastern Monroe County. So this is likely going to be an ongoing situation. We should be getting some clarification too on the southern flank of this. Warning for Clarke County, for example, may be about to expire. We've down the leading edge of it here, Grove Hill. Let's just check this for some rotation here, Matt, and just make sure. The Grove Hill community definitely getting a severe thunderstorm right now. At this point, perhaps a little bit of rotation right there. So we'll have to continue to monitor that particular flank of the storm too as it's coming across northern Clarke County. It can be possible to have multiple rotation areas located within one thunderstorm complex. When you get these clusters of showers and storms, sometimes you can see this forming up. So we may be getting a little bit of rotation here coming across Grove Hill proper right now, and this is on the road out towards Watley. This is getting out towards 84 here as you're getting closer to the Monroe County and Clarke County line here. So we've got one little area there, and then a much more prominent area of rotation up near Vredenburg. A very active weather situation in Clarke County and Monroe County, and this is where the severe weather threat is certainly the highest today. This is also the worst time of day for something like this to be popping up because we're getting peak daytime heating. There's another area up there that we're watching up into Wilcox County. So at this point, Clarke County, Monroe County, and also a portion of Wilcox County under a tornado warning. The Thomasville warning has been dropped. We're still continuing the warning for Grove Hill for the possibility of rotation there in Grove Hill. 2 areas of rotation within this red box. The red box is what is indicative of a tornado warning. You can see our legend right there. And then the yellow indicates a tornado watch, which is currently in effect for all the inland counties in the area. Very much primed for the potential of tornadic development today and into tonight. We may see this continuing for a while longer with all the different elements in play for the possibility of severe weather today. We've got abundant moisture, strong low-level flow. We've got wind shear, and the upper-level dynamics are there too. All the ingredients are in place for the potential of severe weather in our area today, specifically areas along and north of Interstate 10, but even to the south of I-10 late tonight. We'll have to watch it as we still remain under a level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather. Thomasville at this point, the lightning's still occurring, but some of those strikes are a little older, so we're looking good there. And then the leading edge of the line here, real nasty looking line here, bearing down on Franklin, tracking towards Beatrice, headed over into Monroe County, and looking south of Thomasville down towards Fulton and Grove Hill. Fulton at this point is likely going to be okay. The leading edge is past town now, so we're doing a little bit better there. And we are seeing the very southern flank of this storm coming through Grove Hill. This right here is a zoomed in look at some of the potential rotation areas, multiple rotation areas going on right now between Vredenburg and Franklin here, right on the Monroe County, Wilcox County line. So we've got one area that we're watching here, another one right there that's coming across along Highway 41 there. And then we've got Highway 21 here leading up near Beatrice as well that we're watching out for the potential rotation that could end up over there into Monroe County. Lots going on to keep track of across the Gulf Coast today with the nasty looking storm here. This has had a history of producing funnel clouds as it's come across Clarke County. So we have seen some verification of the rotation areas that we've seen on our Doppler radar. And looking at the overview of what's going on, we have very warm, moist air creeping in. If you've been outside today, prior to the storms, obviously, in the southern part of the forecast area, we've had a very, very juicy air mass coming in. With the warm front lifting to the north, that has allowed for the atmosphere to destabilize. We're getting into what we call the warm sector. We're getting a deeper southerly flow. So the ingredients are there for the potential of severe weather. We're seeing quite a bit in the way of wind shear in the atmosphere as well, where we're getting changing wind with height in the atmosphere along this boundary. And also we've got low level flow coming up out of the south. And then as you get up into the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, the winds veer around and come more out of the west and out of the west southwest. And so with that changing of wind direction with height in the atmosphere, that can create the potential for rotation. And a lot of this going on here too. These little arrows here where it looks all confused and spinning, that's up along the frontal zone itself. So that's where you're seeing some differentiation as well. So wind shear is very, very high in this area. The moisture content of the atmosphere is very, very high in this area. And then we're also seeing the upper dynamics to give us the instability in the lift, which are the ingredients for severe thunderstorms. And at this point today could be a very, very active weather day for a good portion of the Gulf Coast region, unfortunately. And Matt's pointing out some of those shear areas there that are located up in this area where we're actually getting the tornado warnings right now. This is matching up very, very well. So we have that potential for wind shear in our area. Taking a look at what's happening, the line itself, the leading edge of it, tornadoes are most likely going to form not necessarily in the core of the red, but out ahead of it. And we've got a couple of areas where we're getting some rotation, Wilcox County and up into Monroe County. History of reporting some funnel clouds in this area. I do like how the flank of this storm is looking down through here into parts of Clarke County, but a little further to the south, we'll just have to keep watching it there. Possible rotation areas up near Franklin and Vredenburg, and tracking to the east towards Beatrice and towards the east southeast. And we just continue to keep an eye on this to scan this line here. That rotation area there, that's the one we were looking at earlier, Matt, still appears to be between Franklin and Camden, right on the line between Monroe County and Wilcox County there near Vredenburg.
Yeah, Jason, obviously, like you've been mentioning, this is pretty far away from the radar site, about 90 miles. So it's a little sloppy looking, but there's definitely some rotation up here around Vredenburg and maybe a little bit down Highway 41 as well. But it's probably working its way right down the county line there between Monroe and Wilcox County. So going to be anywhere from Highway 41, Highway 265, Highway 21, right there down the county line. So, anybody up in that area, make sure they are taking shelter up that way. We're going to get this by you in about just a few minutes, moving quickly on it at 50 miles an hour once again. Okay, the Weather Service is going to be they're about to update the tornado warning, so that'll trim out some of the scope of this, because right now it's a pretty broad area, but we're watching that one rotation area right along that county line. So they're going to trim this up to follow that rotation area. And that's one of the good things now that they're able to do with these warnings, is they don't have to, put out the warnings for the entire counties. They can really trim these down to these polygons and get right down to where the folks need to be taking shelter, so there's less false warnings out there, so folks know when to take these seriously. If you're in a box, there's a reason why you're in one of these polygons, so please take shelter when you are. So once again, if you're right there along the county line, from Monroe County to Wilcox County, that's where they're most likely seeing this area of rotation. So it could be coming very close, like Jason was saying, to Beatrice. Also over around Highway 21, Chestnut, County Road 56. All these Turnbull, Natchez, all these areas you need to be taking shelter right now, because we have, once again, a decent area of rotation right through, right there, right on the county. It's just working its way straight down the county line here at this point.
Yeah, an active weather evening here on Fox 10 and across the Gulf Coast, where we're seeing severe weather in our area, and we're watching it with a tornado watch and multiple tornado warnings in effect for a number of counties. And this is the way things are issued as far as the potential for a tornado in your area. If you have a watch, that just means conditions are favorable. Doesn't mean you have one going on. When a tornado warning is issued, that means one's either been spotted by Doppler radar or by a storm spotter and is potentially on the ground. So a warning means basically it's happening and you have to treat it as such. We're getting rotation in northern Monroe County up around Vredenburg. We should be getting an update to that polygon, and I can hear the advisories going off there. An overview of the region shows that this is not the only game in town. We've got the tornadic thunderstorm going on, but as we go on off towards the west of us, we've got a terrible looking thunderstorm that's getting closer to Columbia, Mississippi. It's near Macomb, and it looks like a hail producer for sure and a tornado producer, and that's going towards the east. It's going to pass south of Hattiesburg, and probably in about an hour or less it could be over into Greene County. So that one's going to be on our watch list for down the road, the potential of that tornado warning getting into our area. Also, we should be getting some definition of what's going on with this particular storm here. It looks like that the Fulton community, that Thomasville, Fulton, and potentially Grove Hill, that the leading edge is now past town for the most part there. So we may be able to exclude some of those areas from the tornado warning. Tornado warnings are no longer, they used to be issued for an entire county. Well, that's a big area. So if you put, let's say, for example, all of Monroe County under a tornado warning, you're not doing a service to where the actual rotation area is, and you have a lot of people taking shelter that don't need to. In this particular case, this Monroe County warning is for areas well north of the Repton area and just north of Monroeville. It starts up, it's north of Frisco City as well as north of Chrysler. It's up here around Franklin and Beatrice, areas in the red. Those are the areas that are included in the tornado warning. And if you've got a tornado, it's going to be along the leading edge of this thunderstorm as it's coming through. At this point, the strongest portion of it is right here on the Monroe County, Wilcox County line. I mean, you can tell just by looking at the reflectivity itself, where you have this purple coloration right through here. That is where we're likely seeing the strongest portion of the storm, and we're likely to be getting our tornado going on right in through here north of Franklin or just in Franklin proper. Also want to look in that with our hail scope too, Matt, because we may be getting some hail up there too, as we're looking at a very, very high reflectivity rate and a lot of lightning within that there. Okay, updated here. The flashing going on here, they are continuing this tornado warning. They likely took some of the areas to the west back out. A little bit of small hail there as well. This flashing means that the warning has been updated, and I expect we've taken a good portion of Clarke County out of this warning. And what we'll do is, Matt, bring this warning up full, and you can see Clarke County is now out of the tornado warning. So at this point, the tornado warning is in effect for northern Monroe County and Wilcox County County. And if you're in Grove Hill, Fulton, or Thomasville, you can temporarily breathe a sigh of relief. The Watley area, Lower Peachtree, it looks like that the worst part of this storm is now moving out of areas in Clarke County and now over into parts of Monroe County. The rotation is right on the line between Monroe County and Wilcox County. Here's Camden right here. There's Beatrice, and this rotation area is near the Vredenburg community, and it's going right down the line here. It's going to be a little south of Oak Hill here, and it's going right down the line as it's tracking out along areas of the northern portion of Monroe County and the southern part of Wilcox County. Looking at some of the areas here, some of the communities will get in tight that are located near this rotation area. We've got some of the county roads right in here. Here's the Chestnut community here along 265. And so your rotation area is tracking pretty much right for Chestnut. If you know anyone or you're watching us in Chestnut, be aware possible tornado coming out of Vredenburg and coming right along the Monroe County and Wilcox County line. It's tracking pretty much straight to the east. It has had a history of veering a little to the east southeast. So while this thing appears to be a little north of Franklin, Beatrice will have to watch it too, because this thing may veer off a little to the east southeast as it comes across northern Monroe County. There's Beatrice right there, and you've got McWilliams right here, and looking at 21 right there, which comes up north of Turnbull and heads on up into Wilcox County as well. These are all roads and areas that are going to be included in this warning. We've got a nasty looking storm here, the red right there, and it's going to continue tracking on off towards the east. I've got Highway 10 right up here, and these are all areas that could be potentially impacted by this tornadic storm. So very active storm in the far northern fringes of our forecast area this afternoon. Meanwhile, the coast continues just to see light passing showers. We're going to be dealing with some of this stuff later on. This is mainly an inland thing. Multiple rounds of severe weather are possible in our area today. There's Matt again updating what's going on with the rotation area, and we again are showing that mainly right up here along the border between Monroe County and Wilcox County. And Matt, looking at the rotation and keeping in mind how far away the storm is from the actual radar site, definitely something we wouldn't want to have happening here for northern Monroe County.
Yeah, it's working its way once again right down the county line between Wilcox and Monroe County. So this has been pretty consistent here, moving right along there with this rotation area as it works its way through that area. So it's going to continue working its way to the east there, right along the county line at 60 miles an hour. That's from the National Weather Service, 60 miles an hour. So it is cooking along. It'll be out of Monroe County probably the next 10 to 15 minutes. So we won't have to deal with this a whole lot longer. And then we're going to have to come out, turn our eyes off to the west, as we'll see more storms working their way on in. So we're going to continue to watch these. There's some more over here around Coffeyville. Those don't have as much lightning with them, which is a good sign. We see a lot of lightning with them. We know they're very convective, and when they're convective, that means they're a lot taller, means they're stronger. We're not seeing that in these ones that are straight behind that first round, but we do see that over here on this storm. This one's very concerning over around Macomb, Mississippi, working its way towards Hattiesburg. There is a ton of lightning with that one, and that one's going to continue to track off to the east. It'll likely find its way over into our parts of our viewing area, say around Greene County, say up around Washington County within the next hour or so. So that's definitely the next one to watch down the line as it moves on in. And also going to be keeping an eye on to see if anything else develops behind that. There's going to be a lot to go through here tonight. We're going to be dealing with storms likely into the wee hours of the morning, and it looks like our inland areas up around Highway 84 will see the most action out of all this, which was expected and anticipated, because that is where the most instability is in the atmosphere. As you get closer to the coast, there's less and less instability, so you're less likely, not that it can't happen, but you're less likely to see tornadoes or very severe weather. So we'll continue to watch this. They'll all track here off to the east. Once again, they're continuing the tornado warning up there in Monroe County and Wilcox County, saying that now it's moving to the east at around 50 miles an hour. So this has been one that we've been tracking all the way through from when it first entered Clarke County. Now it's making its way through right along the county line there between Monroe and Wilcox, and it's moving along pretty quickly at around 50 miles an hour. For a while, this had a pretty good southeasterly bend. Now it seems to be more of an east now. So it's going this way, then it started to bend back here towards the east, and now it's working its way right down the county line. But we've been tracking the same circulation area here for now about an hour here. So it's taking its time to move across here as it moves here to the east. Lots of lightning, guys. Lots and lots of lightning with this one, and we expect to see more storms like this, particularly in inland areas, as we go through the evening tonight. Let me back things off, give you the big picture here. We did get a new updated tornado watch for parts of coastal Mississippi. George County right now, you're not in it yet, but I anticipate George and Stone County will be in it before too long. And then as we look over here towards Mobile, Baldwin, and then eventually into the Panhandle, we'll likely see a tornado watch updated here for into later on this evening. We'll have to wait and see, but that will be the most likely occurrence. Everywhere else, see all this yellow, that is the tornado watch for all these other areas. And then we have several tornado warnings, one for that one that's working its way right down Monroe and Wilcox County line. And then we have this one that is now just to the southwest of Hattiesburg. That's the one that has me concerned now, because that one eventually is going to work its way over towards Greene County, then over towards Washington County. So if you're in those communities, just be aware of that. Within about 45 minutes to an hour, we're probably going to be talking about another warned cell moving into those areas. So don't rest on it. Pay attention. If your phone buzzes off, turn it on to Fox 10 News. We'll be definitely tracking these as they move on through.
And watching this Monroe County warning right now, Matt, actually included in our area is portions of northern Connecticut County. So there's the possibility that this warning tracks off in the direction of Forest Home. But if it veers any bit to the east-southeast, it may technically clip the northern portion of northern Connecticut County. Now, I mentioned Old Texas. That's one of the communities that's off to the east of this. And this is an area here up Highway 47 here that's north of Riley and the north and the extreme northeast corner of Monroe County. The most intense portion of this storm appears to be more up into Wilcox County right now, but it's possible that the rotation area could be right on the southern flank of this. But the core of the heavy lightning right there is a kind of a dead giveaway as to where the most intense part of the storm is. If you're going to get a tornado, it's not going to be located right in the core of it, but actually out on the leading edge of it. And there's the rotation area there right on the county line between Monroe County and Wilcox County. So tornado warning, northern parts of Monroe County. Beatrice, you're included in the warning. The rotation area we're seeing that's most prominent right now is a little north of town. Franklin, we are seeing a heavy thunderstorm coming through right now, but we do expect an update to this warning soon. There's another frame coming in, and we've got this thing coming real close to Pineapple, which is up into Wilcox County too. So it's really on off to the east of Snow Hill now, more over towards Pineapple with the rotation area there. We've got 47 right through here. Here's the Forest Home area, and then northern Connecticut County also could be included in this depending on how this thing tracks on across. Tornado warning, Monroe County, fast mover too. This thing moving on off to the east at 50 miles an hour. We've got it right now very close to McWilliams. Very close to the McWilliams area. And, you know, the thing about this is if you're in northern Monroe County, you're right on the line between Monroe County and Wilcox County, you're in the warning. This is only going to be for about the next 15 to 20 minutes, and this thing's going to be way further on off to the east because it's moving so fast. Another thing to watch here, we've got a core of convection here with rotation right there along 21 in McWilliams. South of Reddenburg, we got one more area here north of Franklin that we are seeing pretty intense heavy rain. Now, we haven't noted the rotation in this area here, but we'll just have to continue to watch that there as we are looking at the inside of that area there, and there is some moderate rotation going on, modest rotation going on in that portion of the storm, and likely to be getting a severe thunderstorm in a lot of these areas if you don't see tornado. But the rotation area that's most prominent here continues to be now north and east of Beatrice, tracking towards Pineapple and Old Texas as it moves across very northern parts of Monroe County. National Weather Services continue that warning over towards Forest Home here as well. Matt, does that include Conecuh County at this point? This new warning here?
I don't believe it can. Hold on,
we have to zoom out just a little bit so we can get some perspective
yeah,
here.
you lose the perspective. Yeah, it's just north of yeah, so it's up towards Greenville.
It's up towards Greenville, so it's going to be just outside our area. As we look at it here, there's Forest Home, here's Greenville. We are seeing a continuation of the warning more on off up towards Greenville, so that's going to take it out of our forecast area. We're going to stay with this as it rides the line between Wilcox County and Monroe County. This is likely a tornado going on up here right now. When we have a warning and we see real prominent rotation like this, it certainly is something that we take very seriously here at the Storm Tracker Center, and we're going to watch that one as it comes across. It's right on the edge of our forecast area. It is moving very, very quickly, and then we'll go down towards the southern flank of this. Not as much rotation, and the storm is not looking as severe or as significant back on off further down the line. So the other system that we're watching, what's next? What's behind all of this? Well, back around McComb, Mississippi and near Columbia, this could be a second round of tornadic supercells within the last week. And last week on Easter Sunday, we had a devastating tornado near Summerall, Mississippi, Bassfield, Mississippi, and up near Collins. We actually had two tornadoes that tracked through these communities in Jefferson Davis County here, very close to Prentiss, Mississippi. We've got another terrible looking thunderstorm with a ton of lightning going on right here, and we have a tornado warning in effect for this storm. This one may be a little south of the Bassfield area. It's now more down towards Columbia as it's coming down along Highway 98 here. There's Columbia right there. Here's Tylertown, and we've got a warning up for this one here, and it's moving to the east, and it could be in our area as soon as about 8 to about 8:15 p.m. And so there's the possibility, definitely the potential for some hail in through here. We've got a nasty looking storm riding along through south central Mississippi. This is a pretty good ways away from Greene County and George County, but ultimately it could end up in our area once it comes across, and it's moving like the other one at about 45 to 50 miles an hour on off to the east. So we've got warnings up there. We have a lot of yellow in our area here. We are under a tornado watch, meaning conditions are favorable for tornadoes in George County. Actually, George County excluded in the watch for the time.
They're about to be added.
Greene County, yeah, they're about to be added in.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it looks like the National Weather Service out of New Orleans has added in tornado watches for the Mississippi coast, and we're just waiting for the counties to be colored in by our local office here. We're likely to see about somewhere around 50% of our counties in our forecast area included in a tornado watch. We're just waiting for the new information to come down. A watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes. The red warning means a tornado could be potentially happening. It's either been spotted with rotation on Doppler radar, or we've had a report of one on the ground. The one that's coming across northern Monroe County has had a history of producing funnel clouds in Clarke County. A funnel cloud does not necessarily have to make it all the way to the ground, but when we see that funnel forming up, that is typically indicating that a tornado has occurred or is about to occur or may be imminent. And at this point, the heaviest portion of this storm continues to be right on the line between Wilcox County and looks like northern Monroe County. The rotation area not as prominent here, but we're really getting far away from the radar site here. In fact, as fast as this thing's moving, it's pretty much going to be over in the Montgomery radar area as it continues tracking to the east there. Vredenburg showing a heavy thunderstorm coming through. We do have red indicating that the warning does include most of Monroe County, but this is the area that's more prominent rotation, and it just went through along Highway 21, which is north of Beatrice, leading up towards Miller's Ferry and Camden, and south of Pineapple. In this area, really, Pineapple is going to be included in this right in through here. We've got 47 here. We've got the community of Old Texas, which is located in this area, and that rotation area is going to keep tracking right along the extreme northeast portion of Monroe County. There's Old Texas right there. Here's McWilliams, and these are two communities that could be potentially impacted by a possible tornado up here into Monroe County. Lightning, heavy rain, gusty winds, and possibly a tornado going on there. So the storm-based warning has really cleaned it up, Matt. This
Yes.
new polygon takes a lot of communities out. I want to give you the all clear in some areas. Beatrice and Franklin have been taken out of the tornado warning, but if you're on the north side of Beatrice, you're included in it right now, and also the Old Texas area included in it. So extreme northeastern Monroe County is included in this warning here. McWilliams and Old Texas would be the two communities that stand out the most at this point as it tracks across along 47 and 21 in extreme northern Monroe County. The Clarke County communities that we mentioned, like, for example, Grove Hill, Fulton, areas up near Thomasville, you've been excluded now. You're no longer in a warning for a tornado, but you are under tornado watch. And stay tuned to Fox 10 News for the evening, because look what's coming. We've got a nasty looking storm, and this one may get Washington County too after it affects Greene and George counties. But we've got a real bad looking storm that's headed towards Hattiesburg. If you're thinking about traveling, I know a lot of us are sheltering in place. We're not doing a lot of driving around and stuff with the whole coronavirus thing going on. But if you had any inclinations of, hey, I need to hit the road and go somewhere, bad idea. We've got a bad storm here, especially out 98. It's coming right down 98 too. And it's right on the Louisiana-Mississippi line. It's been essentially moving straight from west to east. And so we'll have to watch that one as it moves across. And the southern flank of it, again, is fairly devoid of convection right now. It's possible that some of the areas near the coast may not see quite as much out of this as it comes through, but we're going to watch all this stuff as we're tracking it here along with you on Fox 10 News. We're going to be here through the evening hours. We're in team coverage mode right now. I'm here along with meteorologist Matt Barentine, and possible tornadic situation going on right now. Matt, we're here for our viewers through the evening, and this could go on into the early morning hours.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep an eye on that one over by Hattiesburg. That one is moving almost due east, and it seems to be, since it's on the edge of the whole system, it really is feeding on its own environment. This is a long-tracked supercell thunderstorm, likely dropping a tornado. This one's nasty, and it's headed straight towards Hattiesburg. And obviously, they last week had a terrible storm there. That is not good looking at all. Once again, they're probably looking at a tornado on the ground. There is debris in the air as this heads towards Hattiesburg. That is a debris signature there. So that's just more of the tornado watch extended. So they almost certainly have a tornado on the ground on Highway 98 approaching Hattiesburg, and that storm is not racing off to the northeast. Once again, like these other storms, it's moving almost due east. That'll bring it eventually over to our area, and since there's nothing out ahead of it to weaken it, it'll continue to work on some with a good environment to continue staying strong as well. So that one's got me concerned. We're definitely going to have to keep a very close eye on it. Certainly folks over in Mississippi along Highway 98 are having to keep a very close eye on it. That is an ugly, ugly looking storm right now with a lot of rotation and showing debris being thrown up in the air. So we are seeing a debris signature. We're seeing a very strong velocity signature. Almost certainly have a tornado on the ground approaching the west side of Hattiesburg.
Yeah, very dangerous looking storm right there, Matt. And here's what we're going to do for our viewers here. We're going to keep going with the warning in Monroe County until it's out of the area. And once that happens, we're probably going to take a break for a little bit. But we're not letting our guard down, because that storm, as soon as it gets anywhere close to Greene County and George County, we're going to break in and let you know what's going on with that one, because that's a really terrible looking storm here. The rotation with the area that's under the warning for Monroe County really looks like it's more up into Wilcox County. County right now. It's more up towards the Pineapple area. We're not seeing as much rotation on the southern flank of it. It may be just north of Old Texas, and we'll continue under a warning for tornadoes for possibility of a tornado in extreme northeastern Monroe County until 8 p.m. But that is likely going to be discontinued within about the next 10 to 15 minutes, simply because this thing geographically is going to be on off closer to Forest Home and Greenville. So we've got a rotation area there along Highway 10 on up into Wilcox County. It's right on the border between Monroe County and Wilcox County, but this is getting way out on the edge of our area, and it's tracking very, very quickly. The one that we're going to be watching more and more closely with time is this nasty looking cell coming through southern Mississippi with a possible tornado on the ground. We've got Hattiesburg right here. This is Columbia, Mississippi, right in through there, and a possible tornado south of Columbia, and that is tracking on off towards the east. And when you have, okay, if you want to do a little science lesson on what's going on,
okay,
when you have a velocity signature that looks like this is saying, hey, we got rotation, and then you switch it over to debris, and you see a debris ball right there, that is not good. This is south of Columbia and along Highway 35. Here, this is north of Angie, Louisiana. Here, this is in Mississippi.
It's confirmed tornado too.
It's confirmed tornado by the fact that we've had ground truth reports of folks saying, hey, we've got a tornado on the ground, and they're seeing it and it's creating damage. And then we're looking at it here live on television right now too, that we've got a debris signature. So we've got a lot of different ways that we get confirmations of tornadoes. Number one is ground truth reports. Number two is debris aloft, because we can see raindrops, and we can also see things that are getting reflected back that we know are not raindrops. So this is south of Columbia, Mississippi here. Possible tornado on the ground right now crossing Highway 35. This is not in our forecast area, but ultimately this storm will be. Hopefully it will not be as strong, but there's no reason why it will not maintain its integrity as it comes in our area, unfortunately, because there's a lot of instability ahead of the storm. We've had sunshine out ahead of us. That's bad, because what it's doing is it's creating more lift. And look at the hook signature on that one right there, Matt. You can see it hooking here south of Columbia. We've got a hook signature in the supercell thunderstorm. This is near Pickwick, Mississippi, and down to the south of Columbia here and getting close to Spring College. We've got a hook signature right there with a debris ball, and that is a bad looking storm. That is likely a very, very, very strong tornado that's coming across southern Mississippi. It's not in our area. We're not under a warning for it, but ultimately out ahead of it, a lot of instability. It could be here, so that'll be something that'll be watched there. Let's go back over towards our Monroe County situation just to kind of reassure folks there that we think that the bulk of this one is going to be to the north. And at this point, I like what I'm seeing here. Right up near Pineapple, that's where we're most likely going to be getting the rotation. It looks like the worst of the rotation is going to be just north of the Monroe County, Wilcox County line. It's up in Pineapple right now. So it looks like we're in better shape for extreme northeastern Monroe County, but we're not going to let our guard down. We're going to be here with you through the evening. We've got full coverage coming up on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m. And by then, if not sooner, that nasty looking confirmed tornado that's on the ground in Mississippi, that's outside our area south of Columbia, that's likely going to be upon us. And we have a level 3 and 4 risk zone today. We also have the potential for tornadoes with the tornado watch that's been issued. So all hands on deck. We're watching it here for you from the Storm Tracker Center. We're going to take a break because it looks like this storm is really just north of our forecast area at this point and quickly moving to the east. But we will be having coverage throughout the evening hours here on Fox 10 News. Of course, we have our full newscast coming up on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m.